Are you gonna help me film the intro? Hmm? Yeah. I don't think Piper's made an appearance in a while. Yeah. Okay. Yes, she's a sweet girl. Hello everyone. My name is Elizabeth. You can get my lap? This is Frizzy Lizzie Stitches, and this is Flosstube number 74. Hi. Okay, you can sit there. Oh, now Wilson's alert. Here, get my lap. Okay. Yeah. Hi everyone. Today is April the 6th, 2025, and today is Sunday. Normally I film on Friday, but I had a very intense goal this weekend to finish a certain project, and so I really wanted to make sure that I was able to make that happen, and to do that I forgoed. I decided not to film on Friday, and to be quite honest, I wasn't sure how long it was going to take me to complete this goal and if I would even have a chance to film this weekend. But here we are. I completed my goal last night, which I will talk to you all about in a few minutes. And yeah, so now I have time to actually film a video. My husband Bobby's been out of town, and so I had ample time to myself this weekend to accomplish a lot of things and still have time to film before he gets home this evening. So anyway, the hope is that I can get this edited today as well, so that I can just check it all off. But anyway, I have, I think I don't know what she's doing. She's being she's like sniffing my shirt. I'm not sure what I did there, but anyway, hey, now I've got Wilson on this side. I've got, I think, 4 cross-stitch projects to show, and yes, 2 knitting projects, and then I also have a little bit of haul, and I have lots of chatty bits about plans. Also, as you might have noticed already, the animals are quite active at this moment, so I'm probably going to be a little bit distracted while filming today, but that's okay. Wilson's over here like begging, see, now he's bumping the camera. Anyway, okay, let's get into the cross stitch. All right, so we're going to start with the project that I was being very cryptic about earlier. This is the project that I've been working on all weekend, okay? And I am just very excited. So this is Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola cross stitch, and I finished it, okay? I finished it. This is, let's see, this was the SAL from 2023, and I started it when the SAL started. Obviously I didn't finish it then because I finished it last night. I stitched mine on 36 count Fox and Rabbit linen in the color Oyster Shell, and I stitched it, the last thing I want is for this to fall off. I stitched it 2/2 with the called for DMC. And I apologize for like any weird lighting or like shadows and whatnot, because I wonder if I can get less shadow if I do it this way. That kind of looks worse, I don't know. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, it's very overcast. It's been very gloomy, and my chair's squeaky, sorry. It's been very gloomy and depressing, honestly, outside. It's been on and off again, raining. It's been extremely windy. I don't know where the sun is. There's clouds everywhere. You can't even see stars in the sky at night because it's so cloudy. So anyway, we just have some really crappy lighting, but that's okay. Anyway, I finished Greenhouse, and so this project, as of the start of this current weekend, it had like 3,100 something stitches left, and I was bound and determined to finish it because the Lola Crow SAL for this year, Extraordinary Birds, the frame released on Friday, 2 days ago. And I cannot resist a Lola Crow stitch along. Nothing makes me more excited than seeing sneak peeks and seeing each part come out than Lola Crow. That is like the most excited I get about cross stitch, and I just wanted to really be able to start Extraordinary Birds. But in order to do that, I wanted to make sure that I finished this project first, because last year when I stitched Deadly Aquarium, this was still a whip and I did not touch it at all while I was working on Deadly Aquarium. And I knew that if I did not finish this, that I would just stitch on Extraordinary Birds and this would yet again be neglected. So I pulled myself together and I got it done. And I'm very proud. But yeah. So there's not too much else to say other than that. I'm stoked that this is done and I cannot wait to start Extraordinary Birds. I will say, since the last time that you saw this project, because I didn't pop up what it looked like last time, I stitched an incredible amount of stitches on this between this video and my last Flosstube. And I'm going to tell you how many stitches that was. 5,483 stitches. Actually, I am going to okay, so this is my finish, right? And then over here, I will put what it looked like in my last Flosstube. So that's crazy. Anyway, I'm very proud of myself. And like I said, I'm very excited to be able to start Extraordinary Birds now that I finished this whip. All right, so that one obviously got the most attention in the last 3 weeks. But I also have another finish, which was, I guess, a start and finish since my last update. And this is a Mill Hill kit, and it's called Rubber Ducky. And it's part of the Spring Bouquet series. And this is what my finish looks like. So let me see if I can get a better, maybe I can put it behind here. I'm trying to get to focus on there. Anyway, this is Rubber Ducky by Mill Hill, and I had so much fun stitching this. And I stitched it up in 2 days, like last week sometime, and I just love the beads on this one. It's so much fun. There's a mixture of like the half cross beads, which are the larger ones, and then like the petite beads where you do a full cross with the bead. And I just love the variation between the two, like using both types of beads, and it looks so cute. So I'm very excited to get this one fully finished, like get it all cut out and put a backing on it, and I'm gonna turn this into an ornament for the tree. This particular Mill Hill kit came with a magnet, but I prefer to just make it an ornament so I can hang it on the tree. But anyway, I just whipped this together in 2 days. It was kind of a good like palette cleanser between working on all these other like larger projects that I'm doing. So that is Rubber Ducky. All right, the next project I want to talk to you about is Sweetheart Campfire, and this is artwork by Thomas Kinkade. It looks like this, and this is what it would have looked like in my last update. And let's see, it looks like I added 1,767 stitches since my last update. So this is what my project looks like now, and I've really been working on filling in Minnie Mouse. I was getting kind of bored of stitching in the diagonal, and so I took a break and kind of filled in a lot of Minnie Mouse, and so you can really see her like coming together. So yeah, it's very exciting, and it's really interesting like stitching like a part of this design that is like one of the more eye-catching pieces, because when I'm stitching it and I'm like this close to it, it really just looks weird. But when you hold it back, it really does look like the image, which is amazing. So yeah. I don't think too much else to share. I'm kind of just swapping between diagonal and like filling in stuff like this just to keep things interesting while I'm working on it. This one, so my goal for this year is to get it to 25%, and it's currently at 15.58%. So we're working really good on it. I have finished all the goal, like I broke up the total amount of stitches I needed to get to 25% over the 12 months of this year. And I have completed my monthly goal every month so far. we're only 6 days into April, so I haven't actually started on this for my April goal, but I don't see why I shouldn't be able to accomplish that as well. So gonna keep on keeping at it. Okay, the next and last cross stitch project that I want to show is actually not my project. It's my friend Brijin from the Museum Stitcher. It's her project. We are doing what we're lovingly calling a whip exchange program. And this is something that me, Brijin, Cam, and Rachel are doing. Brijin, Museum Stitcher, Cam the Stitcher, and Rachel from Lemonade Stitching. And anyway, so the idea was that it kind of started with Brijin because she has the Bookcase by Galianna Cross Stitch as a whip, and she had gotten quite a bit of progress into it stitching with 2 strands, and then she realized that she really doesn't like stitching with 2 strands but felt too overwhelmed to restart the project because she had already put so much time into it. And so I was kind of like, oh, well, like, what if I helped you stitch it? And she did not at first like it because she thought that, you know, that's taking away from my own stitching. And so then it kind of became, well, I'll let you do it if you let me stitch on one of your projects. And then Cam and Rachel chimed in, and they kind of wanted to also help out and have a project to go in the loop. So anyway, the 4 of us have all chosen a whip that we love and we want to have finished, but we just feel stuck working on it. And so anyway, I ended up with Brijin's project first, which, like I said, is the Bookcase by Galianna Cross Stitch. And so when Brijin sent this to me, actually I can show you. I'm not going to take it out of the Q-snap because I still have some stitching to do on it. But when Brijin sent it to me, she basically just started 1 strand on the other side of the fabric. So this is what it looked like when she sent it to me with her 2 strands. So this is how far she got, which, like, could you imagine having to restart this by yourself? It's a lot of stitches. So anyway, this is with 2 strands, and the floss is called Black Walnut by Color and Cotton, and the fabric is Picture This plus Highland, I think. I think it's Highland, not Heartland, but anyway. Now that I've said both of those words, I'm pretty sure it's Highland. But anyway, by Picture This plus, and it's 36 count. So yeah, so when she sent it to me, she basically just put 1 stitch in at the very top to kind of anchor, like, where to start. And so I have done all of this since then. So this is, I think I still have like 400 or 500 more stitches to put in on this, and I was going to do 2,000. So this is probably about 1,500 stitches, and I've gone all the way across the, like, top right side. And so I think I'm gonna kind of start filling in this side, or maybe go down or something like that. But that's how it's looking. And so this is 1 strand, and you can kind of see in comparison how different it is to the 2 strands. It's definitely a lot more delicate and not as bold, but honestly, I think it looks better because you can really see all the intricate details in the texture of the Bookcase, which is really fun. So yeah, Brijin is doing, like, different colors for the books and stuff that goes in the shelf. So we're just helping her work on the Bookcase, and ideally we would like to help her get to where she was, which I think she had done the math and kind of shared that with us, and I think we should definitely be able to get it to where, or close to where she had gotten it with her 2 strands. So anyway, that is whip exchange project. Currently Rachel has my project, which I added Castle Homecoming by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery to the mix. And you can go, I think she recently shared this in her latest Flosstube. So you should go check out Rachel if you want to see my project and how it's coming along. She'll be passing it on to Cam from Cam the Stitcher next. And then I believe, so I'll send this to Rachel when I've met my goal. And then Brijin will send me whatever Cam sent her. So yeah, anyway, it's gonna be really fun because we're gonna get to work on different projects and add a little bit more variety to our everyday stitching without having to, like, start a new project and commit to something that we're not ready to commit to, I guess. But yeah, anyway, it's been a lot of fun and I can't wait to continue on. All right, so those were all of my cross stitch projects. Now I'm going to talk about knitting. So the first project I want to show you is my stripe pipe sweater. This is a pattern by Kudovakika or Veronica Lindbergh. I can't quite remember how to say the first name. But anyway, I will have it linked below in the description box. And I don't know what the state of this was last time I showed you, but I have since been able to, I think I had already connected the armholes, so I finished the caramel stripes, and I added in the third body color, which is this like teal, like this dark teal color, and it's called Mariner's Tail. And I actually tried on my sweater for the first time. I will put a picture up here. It was before I think right when I might have been on the last caramel stripe when I tried it on. But I'm so excited because it's fitting well so far. And I'm just obsessed that I'm literally making something that I'm going to be able to wear. So I still am psyched out by that. So anyway, this is how my sweater is coming along. And this is what the third body color looks like. It's all of the colors in this project are paper crane yarns, and it's beautiful to work with. And I love how the colors are working up. So I think it looks really good so far. The cream color for like the main color of my sweater is Sandascarn, I think that's how you say it. And it's their double Sunday yarn. It looks like this. And I got the petite knit colorway, which is called whipped cream, I think. It doesn't actually say whipped cream on here, but I know that's what it is. So anyway, this is my main color. And then I have two different color greens for the sleeves, which will come in really not that long from now, because so there's going to be 3 of the like teals, Mariner's Tail color on the bottom, and then I'll do ribbing. And then at that point I will need to come up and do the collar and then cast on the sleeve, or like pick up the stitches for the sleeves. So yeah, anyway, this is so exciting. And this is let's see, I guess it's DK weight yarn, and I am knitting it with size 6 needles, and I'm loving it. It's very fun, and it's been a great beginner sweater because this is the first garment that I've ever made. Other than, I guess, I mean, a hat, does a hat count as a garment? I don't know. I've made hats before, and socks, but those are technically garments. But this is like this is like a real, like, this is not an accessory. This is like a main feature, you know? So anyway, I'm very excited, and it's coming along really well, and I can't wait to make some more progress on this. Oh my gosh, Siri just was listening to me and then tried to repeat that all to me on my watch. Oh goodness. She really just irritates me. I need to just turn her off. All right, the next knitting project that I want to show you is my Advent blanket, and this is a blanket that I'm knitting with my 2024 Ruby and Roses yarn Advent. Oh, throwing my stitch counter around. Okay. So I've made quite a bit of progress on this as well. I don't even know where I was last time. I probably should start putting stitch markers on these things. I don't know where I was last time I showed this to you, so I'm not even going to pretend, but I am on the 7th color, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I've just added the 7th color, which is this very light pink you see right there. I just have a few rows done. And yeah, so it's looking so cool. I finally got some like needle stoppers, by the way, and that has granted me such big peace of mind, because now I can just like hold this up and not worry that my stitches are going to fall off the needle, because they stay on there pretty good. But anyway, this is how my blanket's looking. It's all bunched up, obviously, but it's very cool, and I'm loving this pattern. This is the Anthology Throw by Helen Stewart, and I will have that linked below as well to my Ravelry page. But I love knitting this blanket. I love adding in the new colors every so often, and I'm just excited. I have the next few colors caked up. This one will come after the light pink. And then this red will be after that. And then I believe after this, I will go back around to the purple. Is that right? I think it is. I have that all tied up, so I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm pretty sure after this red, it's gonna go into that deep purple. And that's just gonna be so exciting, because then I'm gonna get into like more purples and blues, and then it's gonna turn into greens, and then we'll be done with the blanket. So anyway, I'm trying to do about 2 colors a month on this, because that will help me get this done by Christmas time this year. All right, so those are all of my ongoing projects, and I guess 2 finishes were in there, but anyway, so I think we can move into, I guess it'll be haul / plans, because some of the haul is in my plans, but I will start with the haul that's not in plans, I guess. So basically the next day after I filmed my last video, I met up with Maddie from Kitty Stitch and Rachel from Lemonade Stitching, and we went to Keepsakes in Cincinnati and kind of just spent the day together. It was fantastic. This was like the first weekend after all the shops had come back from market. So there were a couple charts that I wanted to get. I ended up getting Pigeon and Puddle, which I'll show later. But I also got Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get a PDF of this one, so I went ahead and picked up the chart. And it's so cute. And it's not very big. It's 71 by 70. So this will probably, I have too many plans for this year, so might try to look at stitching this next year. But it's just the perfect little spring stitch. And there's some specialty stitches too, like around for the flower petals on these flowers down here, which is really fun too. But yeah, they're smear crosses. So I got that. And then I also got some Lady Dot Creates pom-poms in the color Peony. I had gotten this for the trim on my Lizzie Kate summer pillow. I'm not fully finished yet, but I plan to soon. And then I got a couple needle minders. First, I got this one that says Keepsakes, and it looks like the house that the store is in. And then I also got this one, which says Proud Swiftie. This is from Accoutrement Designs, and I just love it. And it honestly matches my Caterpillar Cross Stitch Lover House needle minder really well. Not that your needle minders need to match, but it's kind of nice that they do. See how cute they go together? So anyway, now I have a couple Taylor Swift needle minders. And that was really loud, sorry. So those were some of the things I got. And then I also got, like I said, I got the chart for Pigeon and Puddle, and I got some flosses. So this is where we kind of transition into plans. Okay, so first I will talk about Pigeon and Puddle. So like I said, I got the chart. This is from the Blue Flower. And I am starting this month with my friends. I believe Cam from Can the Stitcher, Marjorie from Marjorie Made, and Brijin from the Museum Stitcher. I believe it's the 4 of us who are going to be starting this. But anyway, I'm very excited. So when I was at Keepsakes, I knew that they had a very small selection of cottage garden threads. I wasn't really expecting to find the ones that are called for in the chart, but I did find this one that I think is going to work really well for his body. And this one's called Baby's Breath, which is not one of the called for this chart, but I feel like it's gonna look really good for this part of his body. So anyway, got that. And then there are a couple of called for DMC variegateds. I found one of them, which is this 4124. It's a very pretty orange. But then I also picked up 2 other variegated flosses that are DMC. I got this one for the water. It's 4025. So I think that's going to be a great substitute for Murray Pine. And then I also got 4522. And this one I think is going to be a great substitute for whatever the color for his neck is. I think it's Shadows. Shadows, I think, is what's used in his neck right here. And it's very, there's a lot of colors going on. And so anyway, I think this DMC variegated is going to be a good match. And then the rest of the colors I just filled in with some coloring cottons that I had in my stash. And I just basically compared either the image online of the color of the cottage garden that was called for. Some of these were DMC, so I was able to just use my full set to compare and see which ones would be good substitutes. But these are the coloring cottons that I picked out. And when I actually start this and start stitching with everything, I will like make like an official color conversion list. I will say one of these coloring cottons is just a limited edition, so it doesn't have a name. But anyway, these are the flosses that I'm going to use for Pigeon and Puddle. And then I got, this is actually my very first fabric of the month club from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and it's called Chai Love You. And I've been hoarding this because it's literally the perfect fabric. It has like a tiny bit of pink in it too, which is nice, but it's gonna look so good with these flosses. And I think it's gonna be a perfect choice for this design. So I'm very excited to start this soon. Probably next week or something like that. So that's one of my kind of new starts on the horizon. Another plan that I have is, so since I've officially completed 4 of my Sweet 16 goals. And so I'll actually put a picture up here of my board so far. I have completed 4 of them. So I've completed FFOing Ruby and Ralph. I finished Skipjack Sampler. I finished Greenhouse of Oddities, and I staffed Rubber Ducky. So those are the 4 that I've completed. And then I've started the token. I've started my goal on Sampler Garden. And I went ahead and marked that I started my goal on Castle Homecoming because we're doing the Whip Exchange program. So it's getting work on it. I'm just not doing the work on it because I'm working on everybody else's project. So when it comes to me, I won't have much left to work on to meet my goal for the year. So that's how my Sweet 16 is looking. And I kind of told myself that if I completed 4 goals, that I could reward myself with a new start. So since I completed 4 goals, and I will say, so all this is very arbitrary, right? So for me, Pigeon and Puddle doesn't really count as like one of these like earned starts because I'm doing it with friends. And same thing with Extraordinary Birds. Like I don't really feel like that's something, like for me, earning that start was to finish Greenhouse, which I did. So anyway, I don't need to explain how my brain works, but I've decided that since I completed 4 of my Sweet 16 goals that I'm gonna start Sally Spencer. So this chart was previously out of print, and it is currently being sold from Colorado Cross Stitcher, and so that's how I got this copy. And then my sweet friend Brijin decided that she was going to share her floss with me. She recently finished her Sally Spencer sometime last year, and she stitched it with the Vicki Clayton silk conversion, and so she had a ton of leftover floss and was really kind and sent that to me. So I will be stitching it with the Vicki Clayton silks conversion. And I have picked out this 36 count linen by Fabric Flare called Cafe au Lait. And I will be stitching with 1 strand because I did do the math with how many stitches each of the colors use and how much floss is on here. And there's not quite enough for me to use 2 strands, so I will be stitching with 1 strand. But I think that will look nice on this 36 count because it is more of a sampler and less of a like graphic type design. So anyway, this is the fabric that I've chosen, and I think it's gonna look so pretty on this. So I'm really excited to start that. I don't know exactly when I will start it. We will just see how life happens. But now that I, like I said, have completed 4 of the 16 goals, I feel like I've earned this start. So I will definitely be starting that in the next few weeks. So that's 2 so far, okay? Now the 3rd start that I have planned to do. Listen, you guys, I haven't started anything at all this year, okay? Like, and we're not talking about little things. Like, I did start and finish the rubber ducky. I did like start and finish my Crafty Goose, which I'll talk about too later because I have lots of things to give for that one. But I haven't had any like big starts. So I'm just going crazy in the month of April, I suppose. But anyway, I digress. Extraordinary Birds. Okay. I was like looking at the listing for it, and I noticed that the called for fabric that she uses is called Sandbar by STITCHY. And guess what this is? It's Sandbar by STITCHY. And I didn't even order this fabric for that chart, okay? It was already in my stash because it was a Fabric of the Month club for August of 2024. So anyway, I'm just stoked that I already had the called for fabric in my stash. So I will be stitching Extraordinary Birds on this fabric. I do need to pull out all the DMC that's used for this, but I'm very excited that I already had the fabric. So it just feels like it was meant to be, right? So anyway, those are my plans. Now, since I already kind of briefly brought it up, Crafty Goose, you guys are incredible. I announced this in my last video as a new design, and you guys went bonkers for it, and I could not be more grateful. So as a reminder, if you somehow missed it, this is what Crafty Goose looks like, and you can get it on my Etsy and my Gumroad, which are linked below. But I want to put up some photos here, like a little montage of, I tried to, anytime somebody tagged me on Instagram, I shared it to my story, so I will be collecting from that and putting a little like whatever up here to show all the crafty geese that you guys brought into this world. You guys chose such amazing colors. Some of you added bows to your geese, which are so cute. I need to add a bow to my goose. And I just love how creative you guys got with it, and it makes me so happy. It really filled my cup, and I'm so grateful that you guys loved it and got so much joy out of it like I did. So anyway, I just wanted to give a great big thank you to anybody who bought the pattern, stitched it up. Even if you just liked it and shared it online, I'm still grateful for that. So thank you so much. Okay, so I think that's all of my crafty related things. I don't really think I had too much to talk about, like life stuff and like extra or like reading, watching, playing. I have been reading and I have been like listening to audiobooks. I have been playing Stardew Valley, but nothing like of like big enough to mention, I guess. Bobby has been like working night shift, and then he was out of town, so I have had quite a bunch of alone time, which is nice because I can get a lot of crafty stuff done, but it's also like I'm tired of it and I'm ready for him to be home again. Because I kind of miss our like normal routine of, you know, meal prepping and cleaning, and then also just getting to hang out together and everything. And it's also kind of a lot to like take care of the animals by myself, even though they're perfect angels and they really are very easy to take care of. So anyway, they are both snoozing at the moment, but yeah. Okay, there actually is one thing I want to talk about. So I recently watched Severance. I think I started watching it after I filmed my last update. So that first weekend, the weekend that I filmed last, Bobby was on night shift, and so I was like, I watched the entire season 1 of Severance, okay? And then the weekend after that, Bobby actually was off, so we got to spend the weekend together, which was amazing. And then this weekend, he's been out of town, so I binge watched Severance season 2, and so now I've watched all that is out there. It was fantastic. If you are able to watch it and you haven't already, you should totally consider it. It was very good. I'm very excited for season 3, whenever that will happen. I don't know, but I'm willing to wait for it because it is so beautifully crafted. It is very much like a mystery thriller type of genre, I suppose. But essentially the concept is that you undergo this process where when you go to work, you have your like work identity, and your work person, your innie, knows nothing about the outside world or what you do when you're not at work. They only know work. And then when you leave the office and you return home, your Outie doesn't know anything that happened at work. And so you're able to like separate your work life and your personal life. And although that sounds nice, there's a lot of like ethics and like moral dilemmas that happen that you don't really know, or you might not think about when you think, oh, hey, this would be a great idea. So anyway, there's a lot of like challenges like that happen, and it's just so interesting to watch and explore all of these different feelings, and I love it so much. So I probably will rewatch it again, definitely before whenever season 3 comes out. Like I said, I think it had been over a year between season 1 and season 2, so there's no telling how long it'll take to get more juice. But I loved that so much. So if you're looking for a show to watch, that's my recommendation. Okay, that's it. I promise. I don't think I have anything else to share. I am so thankful that I had time to film this weekend and chat with you and say hi. And I will do it again in 3 weeks. And I will probably have at least 2 new starts to show you. So you can look forward to that. And I will chat with you in 3 weeks. Bye!